The Medford and Anonymous series, part 2.
So meditation is, and again, it's very important. Like I'd like to say, approaching the tools of meditation is like dealing with electricity. You have to put rubber gloves and shoes on if you're working with electricity, and so when we're approaching the source of everything, we need to prepare. It's not a thing to take lightly. So what would you do to present yourself, And some ideas, of course, people do is they'd wash, they may light a candle, they may put some incense, they may put some music on in the background. But ultimately it comes back to going into that inner realm and finding the strength that we don't have when we're on just the personality. We want to find our real individuality underneath those pages. We want to find the most of the book that consists inside of us. Now, even the Bible says, "Know ye not, have written the law upon your heart and mind." We are the Bible. People need to wake up to this. We are the living Bible. Anything in that book is in us. We've been so transfixed and hypnotized to think everything is outside of us. The real answer is it's inside you, that the kingdom is within you. The law is written upon our hearts and minds. Go find it. Go dig for it. And if we dive for those pearls in us, and we don't find them immediately, most of the times we don't immediately, don't say there's no pearls in the ocean. We haven't dived as much as we dive into the TV, or dive into a computer, or dive into the newspapers, or dive into work, or dive into gambling, or dive into going out there to try and, get money together to go buy our pacification. So the same amount of energy, it doesn't have to be the same, just even a portion of it put towards diving within is the same. We take one step towards, God, He'll take 10 steps towards us. So it's a question of not only the quantity of time, it's a question of quality. So if you do a good 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, that is more than, doing something else for 5 hours watching TV. You'll get more out of that 20 minutes than watching 8 hours of movies.
I find that first 5 or 10 minutes can be so discouraging because trying to tame that monkey mind, as you say,
yes,
it almost seems like when you first sit down and try to do it, it almost seems like I can't do this. It's just not going to happen. Like, probably takes about a minimum of 20 minutes to really start to slow down the mind, the process.
Right. Well, it does for me. Sometimes even a half hour to relax my 600, even my muscles, to relax my muscles. And this is the key with the meditation, folks. It isn't just a mental thing. It's the breath. Like in the beginning, God made two creations. Everything of the earth, the liquid, solid, gases, protein, carbohydrates. The way it's put in the Bible is the clay. The first creation is of all the elements of the earth. And the second creation is, I would say, the elements of the solar system, because we have, neutrons, protons in us, electrons. The second creation, God, sounds like even God was meditating. He breathed and she breathed the breath of life into our nostrils. See, the clue is right there. Breath. So, the deeper the breath, and don't force it, it's like people do asanas with their body. You want to do the same principle with breath. So you may take in, like right now, probably we're doing the count of 5. That's 5. You hold it, you let it out, and as much as you can, then you hold the little pause, and you're taking gradually, within that 10, 15, 20 minutes, your breath is going to get deeper. You'll notice you're going to breathe more from your solar system, solar plexus. Now the muscles are relaxing. And what happens is the deeper the breath, the waves of the monkey mind, that monkey is going to stop jumping from branch to branch. It'll still jump, but it won't jump as much. So what you do also is you use an affirmation, because that monkey wants to get his banana. So the banana for the monkey is you use an affirmation, a thought. And you hold a positive thought, whatever it is. God is spirit, seek such to worship. God is love, and I am love. Just hold a simple sentence, but dwell on those words and try and feel the meaning of them. You can use visualization. You can use sitting outdoors this time of year in front of a tree or by the ocean or look at the horizon. But gradually, you'll get a taste of it, and it should be a little difficult because you're approaching. Again, we are approaching such a loving, field of such a loving force, if you will, that we're kind of pruned in the process, and it's like saying, God saying, "You really want me, or do you want the things out here in the world?" And if we're too impatient, we're going to run back to the things in the world. But if you persevere and you really stay with that like he's your best friend, I promise, would never let you down, never let me down. I let myself down, others will let me down. But like going to nature, going inside to meet our Creator, you will never, I promise, will never be let down. In fact, you're uplifted. But sometimes he prunes us in the waiting process to see if you really want me, or you want to run back to my gifts. So persevere. What do you got to lose? What's in the other direction? Other than destruction and distraction and suffering, more suffering, without the palliative, without the alleviation of it, unless you're doing it through drugs, which is only going to take you out of life a lot sooner and cause a lot of pain within your inner realm and your family or friends or acquaintances, even your pets, that would you would just bring pain to them, So what? So
Can you
Can
you just give us a little taste of it and do that again? The breathing and the affirmation. Just give us a little, and then maybe at the end we could do a longer one.
Well, you're sitting still, and by the way, you don't want constriction in your solar plexus here. Yourself, you got a belt, people with your pants, or you got a button. Loosen it up, even the zipper. If you're in your house, of course, you could be much more comfortable. You have to, so you want to get out the tension from your neck. You may do some neck turns, one direction slowly, maybe 4 times, and the other direction a few times, and you'll hear the cracks, and then you may move your shoulders in circles, and you're going to hear the cracks. And then it's very key, keep your spine straight, and always look straight ahead, don't look down, and you just, and I always would start with a prayer, as far as asking God to, protect us and guide us. Because if anybody really perseveres in this, you're gonna go places, and you're gonna get more charged up. So you ask, because the difference between God and a dictator is, dictators force themselves on us. God never forces himself. We have free will to even rebel, just as some angels did, and it's even free will to stay attuned, just as angels are doing also. But even in the earth. So if we ask for his loving protection and guidance as we seek deeper communion, that's the way I started. Because if you really go, some people may go even beyond the 20 minutes eventually, and you really take flight deeper, because the deeper you go, like the Beatles said, the deeper you go, the higher you fly. So come on. So, and so that's the way I started, and then I'll do the breathing. And
what's that breathing again?
Well, the breathing, I'll do a count, like I just said now. I take in, I can only do a count to 5. Eventually, it'll be 5 in, maybe 5 out, but don't do it quickly. Hold it in as much as possible without getting uncomfortable, then you breathe out. Even when you breathe it out, I didn't breathe in yet. There'd be a pause without getting uncomfortable. Then you breathe in. Gradually, it'll be like the tides coming in, where they come in or go out. It goes slowly, but slowly that breath is going to go deeper. And eventually, you'll see, you'll be able to take a breath of 30 or even 40. And that's when you're going to be really still. And that's when you're going to get to know.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed there's even a moment where you almost don't need to breathe. It slows down to such an extent between breaths that you can actually hold that breath longer, and it's sort of like, then you start feeling a peace.
Right, because
and then you're breathing in again.
Yes, that's what happens. Because when you're taking that deep breath, you're obviously just on a physical level. You're taking in so much oxygen or prana, life force, that you took in so much beyond the 5. Maybe you're doing a count to 40, so you don't have to take in that breath like you do 5 and then 5. You're taking it in, you're holding it. It's like chewing up taking a big bite off of, cantaloupe or something. And so you got more to chew on.
And that's a moment where you realize, wow, maybe this might be better than the drugs.
Well,
if you touch
again,
that.
I don't want to mislead anybody to think it happens instantaneously, because it took me 3 months. But I mean, you get taste along the way.
That's what I mean. You might get a taste where you go, whoa, this is not too bad.
Yeah, and when you get the taste, you're going to say, whoa, it's like I took something, and you did. You took spirit. But and that'll encourage you to keep it going and keep it going. And gradually what happens is, the more you immerse yourself in the light, you don't have to turn around and struggle with the darkness and addictions. They'll go away on their own. Even if, you find it hard to give up the cigarettes, you'll find you're smoking less, and eventually it'll just go. I know of a program with Swami Satchidananda, who opened Woodstock. He had a book called Prison Yoga, and there are people in prison in the 60s, 70s who are on heroin. And just through the asanas, the physical postures, which deal with cleansing the body and activating glands, and the meditation, they got off of heroin. So anybody who wants to see this, that the names of people who actually partook of this, there's that book by Swami Satchidananda on prison yoga, and it's an incredible read. I mean, it's really beautiful to show this isn't just, hot air. This is actual, real food to get away from the fake, pacifier. So, I was writing, I was doing some writing recently, I gotta admit it, and it's really fresh. And to be even honest to you and the folks out there, I was writing it this morning, and I just jotted down some notes, but I would like to give some ideas what meditation, consists of beyond the practice of it. What is it like? So one is, it's listening to the divine within us and experiencing it. It's a real nourishing food instead of a pacifier. Well, I already said that one. It's growing a pair of wings so as to fly towards the summit within us and get a better overview of our lives and others. It's a bridge upon which to cross over from our conscious through our subconscious to the promised land of our superconscious or cosmic self, the part of us folks who watches ourselves in our dream. It's not sleeping, it's watching our dreams, the witness within us. It's the eternal image and likeness we are made of. The right stuff, to use the movie's title about astronauts and their preparation and their travels. It's a lifeboat to keep us afloat upon the waters of life.
This almost sounds like something we need to hear rather than the political rhetoric.
It's both. It's the spiritual, the political, and the personal. And the meditation isn't even just to keep our heads in the sand. People may do that, and they're not going the full length, because it's to receive the love and then to go out and first with the prayer, and then to go out and share it. And not everybody's going to be, especially in this life, anywhere on the level of a Martin. But we can be kind to our animals. We don't have to eat the animals. We can be kind to our neighbors. We can go out and, help an old lady with her bags, or smile at somebody, It's not the big things, but those things, those seemingly little things, which are steps along the way to the summit, they are just as important as getting to the summit.
Continue to part 3.
So meditation is, and again, it's very important. Like I'd like to say, approaching the tools of meditation is like dealing with electricity. You have to put rubber gloves and shoes on if you're working with electricity, and And so when we're approaching the source of everything, we need to prepare. It's not a thing to take lightly. Know ye not have written the law upon your heart and mind? We are the Bible. People need to wake up to this. We are the living Bible. Anything in that book is in us. The law is written upon our hearts and minds. Go find it. Go dig for it. And if we die for those pearls in us, and we don't find them immediately, most of the times we don't immediately, don't say there's no pearls in the ocean. We haven't dived as much as we dive into the TV. There's a saying, we take one step towards, God, he'll take 10 steps towards us. God's saying, you really want me, or do you want the things out here in the world? And if we're too impatient, we're going to run back to the things in the world. I always would start with a prayer, as far as asking God to, protect us and guide us. Because if anybody really perseveres in this, you're gonna go places, and you're gonna get more charged up. Because the difference between God and a dictator is, dictators force themselves on us. God never forces himself. We have free will to even rebel, just as some angels did. And it's even free will to stay attuned, just as angels are doing also. And when you get the taste, you're going to say, whoa, it's like I took something, and you did. You took spirit. But and that'll encourage you to keep it going and keep it going. And gradually what happens is, the more you immerse yourself in the light, you don't have to turn around and struggle with the darkness and addictions. They'll go away on their own. We can be kind to our animals. We don't have to eat the animals. We can be kind to our neighbors. We can go out and, help an old lady with her bags, or smile at somebody, It's not the big things, but those things, those seemingly little things, which are steps along the way to the summit, they are just as important as getting to the summit.